Guys, what is up? It is Doug, and welcome to the first 2023 official Spooky Villages video of the review season here. Kicking it off with the Department 56 new for 2023, Castle Calvaria, and the figurine, the Mad Knight. Guys, check it out. Here is the Castle Calvaria, the box here. I really specifically did want to talk about the box because I really enjoy the Department 56 finally changed their art on their boxes. This looks very classic Department 56 when they started doing the Halloween Village stuff, you know, back in the day. I'll flash some images up here. You can see what the packaging used to look like when they would like do their gift sets or their early sets in the Halloween line. This looks awesome. I love how it looks. I think it looks a lot classier personally than the orange box, which you can see here. This is the style that they've done really for the last few years, pretty much since I've been actually collecting Department 56 stuff, have been the orange boxes. So I think this is a huge improvement. Now the box, just so you know, if you've never bought Department 56 here, a lot of them are like this. It's a sleeve. So just FYI here, it's hard to show this on camera, but it's two actual foam pieces here in between. I've actually taken the castle out. If you see me slinging it around here, I wouldn't be doing that with a really nice castle in there, but you have the molded foam here and then a sleeve on the outside of it. And most of them, I don't know about all dealers, but mine, shout out, by the way, to Ryan, Haunters Nation. He's the one who I got this from. He's my Department 56 dealer of choice. And he had it with the bag in it still. A lot of times they do come with a little baggie on the outside. Not all dealers sell it with a baggie, though. Now we're also going to talk about this figurine, the Mad Knight of Calvaria. This is an amazing figurine. I'll talk about him in a moment. Let's talk about the building first. Pretty good sized piece. The castle itself is small. We're going to talk about that in a minute here because this is very much a kind of one of those perspective pieces or forced perspective pieces in how it's best, going to be best used. But check this out. Rotate it around here. FYI, I did not pull all these branches out. These branches with the skulls, by the way, it's pretty cool and macabre with the skulls. They all come out like this. I did not do this yet because I'm not displaying the piece yet. And when you put these all out, it's kind of a pain to put them back in the box, but I'll pull these out here in a minute when you can actually see whenever I put it in the display and some of the pictures when it's lit up. But Castle Carvaria, so a couple things with this one. First off, I really wanted this piece because I love the castles. Last year I got the Department 56 Castle Blackstone set, which is amazing. I did a review of it on the channel, and after getting that piece last year, and that one's been long retired, I knew I had to have something, a display around it. And it's tough to find castles. Max has some old ones, but that Department 56 one is very big. So that leads me to this one. I had to have this one. The figurine is amazing with it. We'll talk about it in a moment, but let's talk about the details before I talk about the size of this building in particular here. So it looks beautiful. All the details on it, a fantastic Department 56 paint job. If you've never had Department 56 before, their paint jobs are usually top-notch. You pay top dollar for it, though, just FYI. But you also get some other cool details here, like this drawbridge, which is firmly down. It's molded in here. It has a chain here, actual chain, and that chain looks very nice with it. So you've got the castle here, this kind of keep that's sitting on top of like a mountaintop. And you can see here, that's kind of one of the big dominant features here is actually like that mountain, that hilltop. I guess just FYI, if you want to do a resin river, make it go around it, right here there is a little river. Now before I show it lit up here, here's what you get with it. It's a standard bulb. Just wanted to show that off here in a minute. This is a bulb lit piece, so there's nothing crazy as far as the lighting goes, fiber optics, anything like that. So here it is lit up. You can see there's nothing crazy going on with the lighting here because it is bulb lit. There's no sound either with this one, but let's talk about the perspective here because I think it actually works with the lighting. So the castle is quite small. While the piece, it's not a small piece per se. The actual castle is quite small. It's like a keep. And then you have the mountain, that dominates kind of the piece, or at least half of it. So it's basically a castle on a hill. And it looks small. So really what this is a piece that I think would actually look very good at the back of the display. I know I intend to actually build a display with the Castle Blackstone up front. I might get some other castle pieces like some of the old classic Limax ones too to see how those look together. But while Castle Blackstone would work great up front because it's gigantic, this one you can put off on a hill kind of in the back of the display. And it has like a forced perspective then because it's smaller and it looks like it's sort of off in the distance. I think it's going to look very good for that. And the lighting actually plays into that because the lighting is simple and it actually does look spooky because it is a spooky, looking castle. I think castles in general are just kind of spooky looking. But you have the skulls here on the side of this one, which I guess makes it extra ominous. But you have the lights out of the windows, and I think that's sort of all it really needs. I think the lighting on this one, if it was more up front and center, was a building that you would want to use up front and center, I think it would need to have more of the extravagant lighting probably. But as is in the, in the back of the display, which I think it really probably properly, to be properly used, should probably be that. Again, there's no problem if you're going to use this mainly as your main display piece. You go ahead, do whatever you want, but it does look more forced perspective and probably you'd want to put it on the back of a display, in my opinion. That does bring me to something here with the scale. We'll talk about the figure here in just a moment with it, but the skulls on the tree, which I think are actually pretty cool and they add to the macabreness of it, they do kind of jack with the scale some because if you do use this as a forced perspective piece, the castle being smaller, those skulls would be gigantic. I mean, I don't really know what you would scale those skulls up to be if the proper perspective like that in scale with a castle, but they'd be like semi-truck tire skulls. So maybe that does make it extra spooky, with some gigantic skulls like that. I don't know. So again, scale is played with fast and loose by all these companies, even within the same lines. But just something to note is the skulls in that tree kind of are a little bit out of scale with the rest of the piece if you want to look at them, like it's a forced perspective piece. Guys, here's the Mad Knight. Now this figurine, I'll show it in a picture here in a minute, is freaking amazing. Tons of detail. This kind of figurine, this is one of the best Department 56 has done, and they have some great figurines as far as detail goes, in my opinion. This is legitimately scary. I think even if you have no interest in the castles or a setup that would utilize them, because I know they're kind of a very niche theme, you could use the figurine for a lot of things. I mean, one, he looks like crazy yard decor, right? You could see a gigantic one of these. Now the 12-foot skeletons are a big thing, and now there's some other gigantic, pieces of yard decor. You could totally use this with one of the, like a trick-or-treat house, and it would be like one of those massive, in scale, I mean, it would look like one of those massive displays you'd have outside of a house. So kudos to Department 56 for this figurine. It looks amazing. I cannot wait to put this in the castle. And the detail on it actually is extra spooky to where it looks like he's got, well, he's armored, right? He's got, I guess, the chainmail around the back of him, the back of his head. I'm assuming that's what it is. And then the front of it, it's almost like his face is taken off and it's the skull. And he's got a knight's helmet, on the side there. So it's very spooky, I guess, showing the ghoul underneath the armor, but it looks beautiful. And to show you what it looks like here, guys, the scale of the figurine right here with the castle. It's more pronounced, the scale being off, by the way, with these two pieces than normal. Department 56 typically has really big figurines, and the buildings, even the bigger buildings, don't always fit in scale with them. And so a lot of times I think Department 56 buildings in general work better if you're going to use their figurines, Department 56 figurines. They work a little bit better with the buildings kind of in the back, so it gives that perspective look. Now in this, these two pieces, because they do go together, they're not sold together, but they're designed to go together. It is more pronounced to where this guy up front, I think, looks a lot better if this is in the back, especially if you were to carve out some like mountains or something to put this in. So just FYI, I will do a video this year, another one talking about the difference in figurines in Limax and Department 56, because it's been a while since I've really done that proper and talked about the differences. Well, that's it, guys. Hey, Castle Carvaria, it looks awesome. I'm very happy to have it. Thank you to Ryan, Haunters Nation, for that. I love the piece. It's the castle theme. It's very niche, but it's not something I thought I was really going to enjoy. But after getting that Castle Blackstone, I love it. And I guess I didn't mention it. You could also use this with some of the Game of Thrones line that Department 56 did, as long as you don't care about mixing licensed pieces in with, the non-licensed stuff. So it looks beautiful. I think it's great. There's a little bit of scale wonkiness, but for what I want this in my display, I want it to be in the background, and I hope to be able to like carve a little mountain or something around with it to put it on top of it. I think it's going to look really good. So new for 2023, and the knight is amazing. That knight looks incredible, very scary. All right, guys. Hey, that's it. My first review of the season here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week. You guys know if you've been a long-time viewer here, I like to tease what's going to come next. Well, I'm waiting on all the Limax buildings still. I have something else from Department 56 I might talk about next week. I'm also going to be doing some theming. I know a lot of folks liked those last year, my kind of guide to the starting village themes. I'm going to be doing a couple of those. Graveyard is going to be one of the ones I start with. So anyways, I'm not sure what I'm doing next week. It's going to be something fun. But thank you all for watching. I can't wait for the season here. We're pretty much getting into it now. It's awesome. I can't wait for all the new buildings as they're coming out here. I love Castle Calvaria, and I can't wait for what is shipping to me currently and what's on the way. So big thank you to all my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much to all of you who have placed orders so far for the Village Scene Setters. Those go into production very soon here. And the run, 40 of each of those that I'm doing, 40 of the Carnival, 40 of the Graveyard, those are actually halfway to being sold out, and they haven't even gone into production yet. So again, limited to 40 pieces each. I want to thank you guys so much for that. Thank you guys so much for the support. I'll see you soon.